Welcome back to MPL Recall. It's the throwback special, and we're down to the last leg of our season recap. Season 5 and 6 naman tayo. Medyo nalalapit na. Technically, parang last year lang to. Season 5 and 6. Once more, my name is Leo. Kasama natin dito ang ating pinakamamahal na mga special guests, of course. Shinbu with a 1 for an I. Mali yata yung spelling nung nameplate mo. Pero yeah, Shinbu. And of course, Finesse Lex Eterna here.
Hindi one.
Oh, ay siya, mali. But right now, we're gonna take a look back at season 5 and 6. Guys, in the chat, ilagay nyo na dyan kung ano yung mga favorite nyong moments from season 5 and 6 as we play you some highlights from these two very, sabihin natin, developed phases of the MPL. Season 5, parang dito, ang sikat pa rin dito, yung New El Clasico pa rin. But some new teams came up as well. BSB, one of them, and U-Level. Shin, your memories of season 5?
Yeah, man. When it comes to season 5, I think that is the one mainly done online, no? And we just came fresh kasi sa season 4. So there's the question of who are the fresh names. I think it's about time where, I mean, celebrated pa rin naman yung mga OGs ng MPL. Pero dito, mula season 4 natuto yung mga tao na there are some merit on anticipating new names. So, ayan. Syempre may mga mainstay pa rin tulad nila Wise, nila Few. Pero for example, dito na-emphasize sila Chaknu, di ba? Especially when he presented himself during the nationals dyan. Yan yung mga moments. And also, other draft-ins din doon nagsisimula pansinin yung mga bagong addition ulit sa mga teams nila. So, mula sa side ng execution. Actually, yung mga tulad nila, Onyx, Sunsparks, and Bread, yung gumagamit lang ng mga talagang na nila. Parang tiwala na or na-establish ng mga pangalan.
Yeah. And this is the season 5 finals. Ito season 6 na to. Lex, as a fan of the MPL, ano yung tumatak sa'yo during 5 and 6?
Tama yung, I agree with Shinbu na yung introduction ng mga players like Chuck. Naalala ko siya yung talagang matunog yung pangalan because of his parang, ang laki nung naituturo niya sa execution para maka-comeback with his amazing setups with Kofra. And of course, yung mga introduction din ng mga bagong heroes na hindi na yung mga yung mga fighter na ginagawang tank na diyan din nasimula yun eh. Kasi dati before there was a tank tank talaga yung role niya or pag fighter talaga yung role niya. But in 5-6 diyan na lumabas yung mga Jawhead na tank or Khalid tank. Naging mas versatile na rin yung game ng ML diyan.
Yeah. Cho Tank. Dito sila nagsimulang lumabas. Yep. Gamit na gamit. And and I think the fan base just kept growing. And again, I think season 5 dyan nagsimula yung again, sad to say, the pandemic. That was our last, parang first 2 or 3 weeks ng MPL, naging LAN, tapos wala na, naging online na lahat. So dito tayo nagkaroon pa ng mas marami pang fans kasi nga, mga nanonood na lang online. So again, you can't stop ML, di ba? Kahit na sabihin mo nasa bahay lang tayo, that actually kind of became more reason for people to just watch. So, may na-bring up tayo na parang yes, may mga bagong teams na on the upswing, pero parang merong nag-statement no season 5. Bren Esports. A lot of people would say that this is the dream team. Bren Esports, after manalo ng Pilipinas, Team Sibol ng gold medal sa SEA Games, medyo power move ang ginawa ng Brain Esports. They tried to acquire a majority of Sibol. They got Lasty, they got Few, and they also got Carl Tizzy. Lex, you're very familiar with Carl Tizzy. And of course, nandiyan pa rin si EJ, si Coco, and si Ribo, na talagang Bren or either naman na for the longest time. Ano naisip mo, Lex, when you first saw this lineup?
Feeling ko nga kinamitan ng dahas ng brand, kinamitan talaga ng pera para makuha yung mga player. Sabi ko, patalino talaga. Naisip ko, patalino talaga may-ari ng brand. Ayaw sumugal, gusto yung sure win. Kapag nag-invest doon sa panalo palagi.
Yep. All-Star. Again, super dream team. Ang reaction naming lahat as casters. Shin, ikaw, nung una mo ito nakita, I'm not sure if you had the same thoughts. Ang tagal na kasi.
If it's not broken, don't fix it. Ganun lang yan. Ano naman yung Bren when things goes out, napakabilis naman nila. The organization, when things goes out, napakabilis naman nilang inaayos yun. And they have the means and resources to actually fix anything. Pero kung walang problema, like, no problem Kahit ako din Parang, ang rewarding Tsaka, siguro ang hirap sabihin kasi ngayon, world champion brand na yung teams na yun yung player na yun. So, hindi mo na pagdududahan yon yung gamble na yon na wag in a way a small gamble na hindi update yung lineup, just use the same lineup kasi in itself composed ng mga din yun Southeast Asian, 'di ba, Seaball lineup din 'di ba, so it's a wise decision to have that kind of lineup. Tapos
at saka
parang,
they have sorry
yun, curious lang na kung ano pang tatanungin mo lang ano pang kahinaan nitong brand, and malalaman mo lang naman within the game ganon.
Actually, ang gusto ko i-add is, ang mahirap lang naman kapag nag-acquire ka ng mga all-star kapag wala silang previous na parang games na magkakasama. Kaso nung in-acquire sila, from Seaball sila in-acquire Kumbaga, na-build na yung na-build na yung chemistry na nila doon. So, hindi na testing ground for brand, nakunin silang sa pagsama-samahin sila.
Yep. And then speaking of Seaball, nandito yung isa sa mga Seaball coaches natin. Dale is watching. Coach Dale Dalos as well. 2020 Rising Male Star as awarded by IRL. That's Rob Luna here. Wednesday pa lang pero freaky na. Shoutouts to you guys. Thank you so much for jumping in. Nabanggit mo, Lex, na parang kung all-star yung team, ang mahirap lang is kung yun nga, wala silang prior experience. I guess half of them, parang hindi kasi hindi naman siya all Seaball pa Di ba meron pang non-Seaball players dito. But just the same, sabi nung Bren, sige para sure ball na magamit natin yung all-star lineup na to, kuha tayo ng all-star coach. Alright? Let's get one of the coaches involved in the M1 World Championships. Let's bring him home. Tawagin natin si Coach Ducky. Alright? Francis Glindro, a good friend of us broadcasters, work closely with the Season 6 crew. And of course, nung magkasama kami sa Singapore, was always by our side. Interesting how it took a while for Ducky, pero eventually nagawa niya rin Season 5, not exactly the best for Bren, pero Season 6, champion niya, no? Shin, you were closely with Ducky during Season 6. What were some learnings you had from Ducky working with Bren?
Coach Ducky is very sensible, no? Hindi tulad ni Coach Midna. Coach, that's how Coach Ducky approach on things, no? Napaka sensible niya lang na he'll say it in a very comfortable way, pero there is the idea of take it or leave it. Gets? Take it or leave it. Ganun lang si Coach Ducky. Ewan ko kung okay lang i-reveal. I think okay lang lumipas na during I think season 7 na no? So season 6 no, yung nakaraang season, no? Coach Ducky was one of our coach then ng broadcasting, no? He's teaching us or trying to push more yung ropes o yung nalalaman ng mga casters pagdating sa MLBB. And the thing here is that Coach Ducky isa pa sa nakakatuwa sana nga ma-experience niya the Ducky experience na maturuan ni Coach Ducky kasi he knows how to maintain the proper distance whenever he's trying to teach something, especially for MLBB, which I think is very important, very important skill for a coach. Whenever you assess, hindi ka agad very aggressive on your teachings, especially for someone. Parang ginigauge ni Coach Ducky and he adjusts from there, no? Nag-adjust siya from there. Not to mention, ito pa yung gusto ko kay Coach Ducky, napaka-flexible niya sa running meta. Like, hindi siya yung coach na, well, I mean, most coach naman are really good. Pero napapansin ko kay Coach Ducky yung idea lang na ang bilis niya kaagad mag-acknowledge na, digi to. 'Di ba? Digi to, we don't deal with that digi, 'di ba? All right, we need to adjust here right now mula dito sa ganitong laro. And ang pinaka-paborito ko talaga kay Coach Ducky is he's facts driven. If there is something that needs to be proven, edi gawin natin in-game. Ganun mag-approach si Coach Ducky. So that's my thoughts about Coach Ducky. No surprise yung sa Yung sa, I mean, di na ako masusurpresa na nasa Philippine team si Coach Daki. I think it would be very lovely to see a drafting game between the approach of Coach Panda versus Coach Daki. Pero yeah, man, if you're gonna be considering the three admirals of MPL, that would be Coach Daki, Coach Daki, Coach Dale, and also Coach Panda.
That sounds
Diba?
great.
It's very lovely to look at, diba?
Big
Parang
word sa
may
Admiral
Oo, parang may papadala tayo sa Vietnam. Parang yan yata yung papalaban natin sa Vietnam. So, sounds good. All right.
Asa for
that
SEA
being
Games,
said-
no?
Oh, diba? Yeah, we have another SEA Games coming up this year, hopefully. COVID doesn't wreck that. But we'll move on. I think we're slowly jumping on into Season 6 here. And Season 6, man, ito yung season na, again, as a fan, no, I think I took a break from the MPL Season 6. I could say na as a viewer, meron siyang growing pains. Kasi nga, how do you mount an esports event na online lang? Di ba? Kakaiba yun. But again, despite that, tuloy-tuloy na nag-grow ang MPL. Bilang fan, Lex, I'm sure you miss local or like LAN events.
Totoo yun kasi iba yung energy kapag ikaw yung nandun ka mismo sa LAN event. Iba yung energy pag nanonood ka lang sa bahay. However, mas malaki din kasi naging impact niya nung nagkaroon ng COVID. I mean, some industries talaga nasaktan doon nagkaroon ng COVID. However, for esports, na nagkaroon ng COVID, nagkaroon siya ng bigger opportunity to grow. Lalo na lang, like some schools right now, like DLSU, ginagawa nilang PE, yung MLBB. So, you could see na talagang nag-benefit din talaga yung ano. Pero the energy, iba talaga yung hype when it comes to LAN events. Talagang baliw yung effect sa'yo kapag nandun ka.
Yep. And namimiss nating lahat yon. Kaya talagang nag-adjust si MPL, nag-adjust si Moonton para mabigay pa rin yung experience na yon sa mga viewers, sa mga fans. Shin, being a member of the Season 6 crew, ano yung isa mga parang sabi mong ang hirap nito pero itatawid natin? Ano yung mga struggles bilang broadcaster in the MPL?
Honestly, kung COVID, actually kung kung COVID or stuff like that, especially on the effect of the pandemic, I think it's very workable kasi you're working with MET, you're working with the of course the broadcast talents simula pa nung MPL season 1. Even if you don't know it's there is a very clear and established and experienced trust, no, parang an experienced backup trust or tiwala sa mga kasama mo. So I'll be honest dun sa season 6. Honestly sa season 6 I think really no problems, no. I think kung may mga problems man, it's probably maybe on our personal ends lang, no. Pero I don't think na like sa broadcast wise, I think it's yung pandemic talaga hindi. May loss lang. I mean, you've taken an L on not having any on-site event. Pero alam naman natin sa sarili natin Alam to ng lahat ng nasa esports Medyo easy bugatti para sa esports ang online broadcast. Like by default mas challenge sa atin ang on-site I mean, may malaking bonus lang. So para sa season 6, I think totally hindi sayabang pero walang struggles. It's mainly again same idea lang, what is new. Yan talaga. Yan ang laging struggle, especially on the new MPL. What is new? How can you make this interesting? Because without doubt, it's not enough to just have players play a game, 'di ba? Dapat may story. How do you emphasize that story? There are broadcast upgrades that was done, 'di ba, during season 6 na yung dragon drawing ni Butters, yung telestrator yun. So well, that's not a telestrator pero something the same na. So that's ayun. Ganun lang. Pero it's not really a struggle. It's more on experimenting something new. Uncharted waters na lang. Yun yung inaalam mo sa season 6.
Yeah. Again, growing pains is the word I'm using here. But now we're talking about season 6. Dito tayo nakakuha ng record-breaking broadcast. I believe this was the matchup between Next Play, Solid, now Next Play Esports versus Execration. And if I'm not mistaken, the number was close to 500,000 viewers. There you go, 485 8,000 on the Filipino broadcast alone. I guess the English stream had like what 1,000. Joking aside, this was an amazing achievement for all of us. No, NXP versus Execration. This was a Rock Hart and Rob Luna broadcast. Man, week 3, day 1. Interesting. This was record-breaking. Wala tong LAN. I mean, kaya rin siguro sobrang taas because this was the only way you could watch it. Lex, were you watching this match?
Yes, I was. Actually, naalala ko kaya tumaas yan dahil...
3 games!
Kaya dahil yan sa kay Zapno and kay Doggy. If I'm not mistaken, dahil sa ni Zapno and kay Doggy, yung nila parang online ba ngayon? Pero I'm sure friends naman sila. Pero nag-online ba ngayon sila doon? Tapos they were like, parang gusto nilang paglaruin si Zapno noong time na yun. And during ng time kasi hindi naglalaro si Zapno parang coach na lang siya or parang 6-man siya. So, I think that's the only time naglaro si Zapno for Execration ng time na yun. Kaya talagang umabot din. Tapos talagang may story behind it with trash talkan with, I think it was Chester din and Zapno nga.
Yeah. Again, parang ang daming history. Shin.
Actually, I want to emphasize din if you look at that screen, man, that's the highest CCV, di ba? Ever. Especially on a non-finals, non-playoffs match, di ba? Na
Regular
MPL,
season.
without doubt.
Regular
And
season.
also, on any esports match, I think in the Philippines. Now, don't just look at that 485,000 CCV. Look at the interactions. If you look doon sa reactions sa bandang baba, makikita mo that's 50-50. A very extreme spectrum of heart. May heart, tapos may anger.
Angry.
Diba? Tapos may like. No? As in, bakit may angry yung heart? Honestly, ayun na nga, let's go back dun sa topic natin, Leo, of growing pains. Season 6, ang tagal na ng MPL. I mean, I think it's not ridiculous to say na ang tagal na ng MPL. And to really push forward on what is new, anong pinakabago mo mape-present is to actually, the higher the gamble. And the gamble here is actually on the utilization of social media. Okay? Social media and also kayfabe, for Season 6. Yun talagang is tinatanong ng MET, ano kayang pinakamagandang addition, magandang bagay para i-upgrade ang ating broadcast? Tinatanong ng mga casters, ano kayang mga dapat na topic o style or broadcast ang makaka-add sa value or makakapagpataas ng viewership natin? Laging ganun ang tanong lagi for MPLs. But what is shown here for Season 6 is it's actually the banter. It's actually the banter on social media. To be more specific, to put a more proper term on it, it is called kayfabe. No? Kayfabe is, although very, very dangerous, it's a double-edged sword, The most successful and established entity na nag-utilize ng kayfabe is WWE, and they have been practicing it for more than 40 years, no? So, gets 4 na dekada na yung WWE na nag-kayfabe. Yung MPL, nung Season 6 pa lang parang pwedeng ma-utilize doon And, again, tama yung sinabi ni Lex and ni Lex about kay Zapno and kay Doggy, natsamahan pa ng ibang mga players dito. So, it's actually, I think makikita mo ngayon yung movements ni Munton. Munton is equals adaptiveness. That's it. They're very, very adaptive. When they learn this from this Season 6, they know the value. They know the value that to establish the MPL IP, it's more than just having players fight inside the game. It's about reading boot camps. It's about getting interviews. It's about getting those shots. It's about making sure na kung ano yung sinasabi ng mga players while at the same time moderating them to, if borders are being crossed, di ba? It's what will push up or it's what will push the attention ng mga tao sa MPL based on that Season 6, no? So ayun yung magandang obserbahan. And again guys, kayfabe, ganun talaga siya. Ang nature niya is may heart ka sa dulo, may angry reacts ka rin sa kabila, di ba? Pero that's a lot of views. And remember, yung angry na yon, they're not angry about the league. They're angry for, depende, on who are they cheering for. Because it's totally normal for people to take one side when there are two opposing sides. And for this case, it was of NXP and it was of Execration. It is one, I think kung may mga talagang dyan, super academic dyan, study this, make a case study of this. Promise, there is a formula here. Hindi lang nade-determine pa siguro alam lang ng MPL na meron yan, alam ni Munton meron yan, alam natin na meron yan, hindi lang pa siya nade-define. But if this, alam na to ng wrestling, sila wrestling ang may alam ng formula na to, ito WWE. This is the kayfabe. Pero if this is properly done or properly utilized in a way that it will educate people, it will become compelling, and it will teach the proper values and virtues for the community, then maganda siya, malaking bonus siya. Kasi again, attention, great attention added with proper values and proper teachings, that makes the world a better place. So ayun, I think ito yung power ngayon ng MPL, lalo na nung naturo yun nung season 6.
Yep. For those who are not aware, kayfabe is essentially yung paniniwala na totoo yung ginagawa nilang drama. Na parang paglabas ng liga, talagang magkaaway sila, may drama talaga dyan. But again, it's for entertainment. That's essentially what it means. Yun. Parang di ba sa wrestling man nanonood ka, may isang masama, may isang mabait. Pero trabaho nila yun. Na maging masama,
tsaka the
na may
babyface.
maging mababait. So again, I think it just translates that the likes, the hearts, and the anger is like, ano yun, sincere and genuine passion ng fandom. 'Di ba? Talagang they feel for their teams. They feel for their players. Love na love nila. Or galit na galit sila kasi talo yung team nila. Ba't na naging 3 games? Dapat 2-0 yan, 'di ba? Kung NXP fan ako or execration. But again, so many things that we've learned in our time in quarantine na parang we just gotta break things down. We gotta make it more entertaining. Moontan has to be resilient. They have to adapt. And I think there's a study on the OWL, the Overwatch League, na ganun. Men, nung nasa live venue sila, binubu yung team. And some people are saying that's good kasi vocal yung fan base. Pero some are saying it's bad kasi parang naging unprofessional. But then again, that's a discussion for another time. Real quick, ang daming sa chat nagsasabi, kala ko ba pag-uusapan natin yung mga champions? Kala ko ba pag-uusapan natin yung malalakas na teams? Yung Sunsparks, yung Onyx, ganyan. Guys, sa aming pagbabalik, we are gonna do just that. We're gonna name our top favorite teams, our underrated players, and all that and so much more. Magbabalik ang MPL Recall. This is a throwback edition. Don't go anywhere.